Hi everyone, welcome back to Clat official YouTube channel. Uh, Today we are going to discuss a very commonly talked about topic or an issue which is commonly available or something which is prevalent um, around us. That is the issue of bullying or body shaming. What are the legal consequences of those things? What are the legal perspectives? We are going to look into that. Okay. Let's see, where does the law really draw the line in these things? When I talk about bullying or body shaming, they essentially mean that there is some sort of harassment, whether it is deliberate or not, some sort of harassment or physical, mental, or psychological consequence because of the harassment. So let's look at the relevant laws that cover this topic. So when we talk about the criminal liability, firstly we need to understand that officially it has not been defined anywhere, not in the BNS, not in the BNSS, which are whatever the criminal laws we have, वहाँ पर officially defined नहीं है. But despite that, we have some provisions, some sections which are covering these things directly, indirectly. So we have provisions that cover physical, verbal, or psychological and cyberbullying under the BNS. That is the first act. Also under the IT Act, which is Information and Technology Act, and child protection laws. So I am specifically talking about POXO here, right? And also schools have some responsibilities. Schools and other institutions also have some legal responsibility attached to bullying or body shaming, right? So what are these things? Let's first understand. Bullying is when to make fun of somebody, to harass somebody either sexually or non-sexually, but it's essentially something that has an impact on the psychological and mental well-being of a person. Okay, तो किसी का मजाक उड़ाना हो सकता है, किसी को क्रिटिसाइज करना हो सकता है, कॉन्स्टेंटली किसी के बारे में बात करना हो सकता है, या फिर it could be about spreading rumors about somebody. All of those things would come under bullying. And when we talk about body shaming, तो इसके अंदर to make fun of somebody's bodily appearance, outside appearance, or uh, anything attached to that, any to make fun of somebody's bodily disability will also come under body shaming. तो दोनों चीजें जो हैं वो हम लोग साथ में पढ़ने वाले हैं, दोनों चीजों को हम साथ में देखने वाले हैं कि क्या लॉज यहाँ पर हैं. तो फर्स्ट थिंग वी सॉ दैट डायरेक्टली कोई लॉ नहीं है, बट देन डिस्पाइट दैट देयर आर सम प्रोविजंस जो कि इसके लिए एप्लीकेबल होते हैं. ओके, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि इट्स नॉट पनिशेबल एट ऑल. ऐसा नहीं है कि इट इज बियॉन्ड द परव्यू ऑफ लॉ. Absolutely not. It is punishable. Let's now see how really. So these are certain sections जहाँ पे ये सब पनिशेबल हो सकता है. 115 BNS, 126, 131, 13, ठीक है, 52 and 351. BNS is भारतीय न्याय संहिता, which has replaced the age-old criminal law, which was IPC, Indian Penal Code. Now it has been replaced by BNS, and these are the offences which are, directly, indirectly related to the offense of bullying or body shaming. वहाँ पर ये cover हो सकता है. Okay, so looking at the first one, which is voluntarily causing hurt, section 115 of BNS. If you look at the definition, it is for you: whoever does any act. So any act would also include an act of bullying or body shaming in particular. Any act with the intention of thereby causing hurt to any person, or with the knowledge that he is likely thereby to cause hurt to any person and does thereby cause hurt. is said voluntarily to cause hurt. ठीक है, so this is about the crime of hurt. बॉडी शेमिंग, बॉडी शेमिंग के अंदर या बुलिंग के अंदर हर्ट भी हो सकता है, और अगर हर्ट होता है, दैट इज फिजिकल हर्ट, अगर कमिट होता है, तो दिस इज द ऑफेंस व्हिच इज गोइंग टू अट्रैक्टेड. एंड व्हाट इज द पनिशमेंट फॉर दिस? Okay, so there is yeah, it's 1 year here, not mentioned properly. Okay, so hurt is the for it's 1 year at least, or with fine also, or both. ठीक है, so कैसे हो सकता है, how can somebody be hurt during these things? So in the process of bullying, if there is hurt caused, in the process of body shaming, if hurt is being caused, apart from the mental or psychological pressure, तो वो 115 के अंदर कवर हो जाएगा. ठीक है, सिमिलरली if you look at 126, which is wrongful restraint, so sometimes this also happens as a part of these two offenses, these two things. Voluntarily obstructing any person, obstruction यहाँ पे it refers to restriction, voluntarily restricts any person so as to prevent that person from proceeding in any direction, in any direction where he wants to move. Okay, so अगर वहां जाने से उसको रोका जा रहा है, तो वो restraint का part definitely बनेगा. If he has a right to go, so that is wrongfully restraining somebody. और इसके लिए punishment है हमारे पास simple imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 month, or fine, or both. ठीक है, so this can also happen sometimes. See, because these are dimensions to the offenses of bullying or body shaming, right? These are the consequential dimensions, or I would say on potential consequences of these things. तो उसके अंदर जाके कवर हो सकता है, but directly, like I said, directly, specifically, there is no legislation covering these two things. All right, now there is this another crime which is wrongful confinement, which is wrongful confinement. As you can see, it is little different, slightly different from wrongful restraint. Because in wrongful restraint, what happens is maybe one or two directions are blocked, but then other directions are open. For example, if a person has to move in a certain way, right? So maybe he's unable to move this way, but then he can always move here, or he can move here, can also go back. So if he has options to move in any direction, as long as he has options to move in any direction, that will be wrongful restraint. But if in case he has got no option to move in any direction, so all directions are completely blocked, permanently blocked, then that should be called wrongful confinement. For example, locking up somebody in a building, in a room, would be an example of confinement, because then there is a limit around him that he cannot cross, that he cannot go beyond, right? So it's a little more serious crime than just a normal wrongful restraint. तो ये crime भी वहां पे commit हो सकता है. For example, let's say a certain student in a school, let's call him S, is being mocked for the way he talks, the way he asks, question in the classroom, and the way he walks. He's being mocked at, right? Now, what happens is, as a part of the process, he was prevented once from going to the washroom, right? He wanted to go to the washroom, but then he was prevented from getting into the washroom. Now, that would be an example of wrongful restraint, because he is not being allowed to enter into a particular direction or building, but he still has an option of going back, can always take a left or right, can go to any place other than the washroom. That's an offense of wrongful restraint. But what if he's already in the washroom and he's not being let out? He has been his way or to exit has been completely obstructed, so he's stuck in the washroom. That case it will be called wrongful confinement, because there is a limit beyond him, and he cannot move beyond a certain limit. That's why it's just wrongful confinement. ठीक है, और इसके लिए जो पनिशमेंट है वो ज्यादा होगा, डेफिनेटली 1 ईयर का पनिशमेंट है, एंड फाइन भी यहाँ पे लग सकता है, या फिर दोनों चीजें साथ में भी लग सकती है. ठीक है. If you have any questions, keep posting in the chat box, in the comment box. We shall see. Okay. ठीक है. So again, we saw a few provisions that can apply to bullying or body shaming as a consequence. Now, criminal force. This is one of the most used section in these cases. You read the definition, it says whoever intentionally uses force. Now it is particularly talking about use of force, right? So any act of violence, any act of torture, physical torture, violence would be covered under criminal force section 129 of BNS. So intentionally uses force to any person without that person's consent, obviously, in order to the committing of any offense. Now this is for what? In order to, what is the purpose? So the purpose can be anything, intending by the use of such force to cause, or knowing it to be likely that by the use of such force he will cause any kind of injury. Now this is important. Any kind of injury, fear or annoyance, किसी भी तरीके से उसको अगर परेशान करने का ऑब्जेक्टिव है, परेशान करने का इंटेंट है, एनॉय करने का इंटेंट है, या उसको डराने का इंटेंट है, तो भी सेक्शन 129 वहां पर अप्लाई करेगा, एंड दैट इज इनडायरेक्टली मेकिंग बुलिंग और बॉडी शेमिंग अगेन पनिशेबल. क्रिमिनल फोर्स. ठीक है. तो क्रिमिनल फोर्स के अंदर हमने देखा वो द डेफिनेशन इज वेरी सिंपल कि there has to be an intent to make somebody feel afraid of something, किसी तरह का डर क्रिएट करना या इंजरी कॉज करना, दोनों तरह का यहाँ पर हो सकता है. ठीक है. नाउ देन वी हैव 130 सेक्शन 130 that talks about assault again from BNS. अच्छा, फोर्स में असॉल्ट में क्या डिफरेंस है कि फोर्स इज एक्चुअल यूज ऑफ फोर्स, सम सॉर्ट ऑफ फिजिकल फोर्स हैज बीन यूज्ड. मे बी somebody has been pushed from the back or has been pulled by the collars, तो वो आएगा criminal use of force के अंदर. But if there is just an apprehension, if there is just an apprehension, right, no real force has been used, no physical violence has really been committed, केवल डर क्रिएट करा गया है, some sort of instant threat has been created. तो जो instant threat है of what? Instant threat of force अगर क्रिएट होता है तो वो बनेगा assault, right? So assault and force में डिफरेंस क्या हुआ? Assault is just an apprehension, no real use of force, but criminal use of force on the other side is actual use of force. तो इन दोनों केसेस के अंदर it will be you can say it will make body shaming punishable. Okay, for instance, if the student or if the person is being constantly threatened of being beaten up, constantly threatened of being physically harmed or damaged, तो वो assault के अंदर fall करेगा. So you can see any gesture, any preparation intending or knowing it to be likely that such gesture or prep will cause any person present to apprehend that he who makes that gesture or prep is about to use, which means it has not been used as of now, use हो सकता है. So showing a punch to somebody would be an example of assault. Showing a slap would be an example of assault, or showing or making a gesture of any immediate violence possibility of that will also amount to assault. ठीक है. तो इन दोनों केसेस के अंदर बुलिंग और बॉडी शेमिंग कमिट हो सकता है. सो वी सॉ so many related offenses so far. इसके अलावा और क्या होता है? We can see one very commonly used section is section 351 criminal intimidation from BNS. I want you all to first read the definition of this, and then so that we can discuss. ओके सो अभी इंटिमिडेशन के अंदर क्या हो रहा है देयर इज अ क्लियर थ्रेट whoever threatens another by any means so this could be done either by weapons or without weapons with any injury to his person either to his body person here refers to body or reputation or property any kind of possible threat to the body property or reputation or to the person or reputation of any other person जिसके अंदर वो इंटरेस्टेड है सो दिस इज ऑल्सो मे बी रिलेटिव ऑफ द विक्टिम वो भी इसके अंदर फॉल कर जाएगा so A threatens B to harm him that is also criminal intimidation A threatens B that his father will be harmed or that his son will be harmed is also an example of criminal intimidation in both the cases with intent to तो this is important कि यहाँ पर intent क्या है तो the intent is to cause alarm मतलब again परेशान करना to cause him trouble that person or to cause that person to do any act which he is not legally bound to do is it is not relevant the only thing which is relevant for us to understand is that any kind of threat now how is it different from assault okay so assault is essentially instant threat for example if A in front A is standing in front of B and is creating a danger is about to punch B that will be assault because there is instant threat but on the other side if A has called up B or has just sent a text message to B that in future he will be beaten up or that in future he will be caused harm that will not be assault because there is no immediate threat available at the moment but it's a future threat right so when there is a future threat not existing at the moment when it has time available तो वो कहलाएगा criminal intimidation okay but yes essentially we can say that assault और criminal intimidation के अंदर जो common element है that is fear that is for sure okay so ये दोनों crimes यहाँ पर commit होंगे okay तो ये कैसे यूज हो सकता है फॉर इंस्टेंस इफ स्टूडेंट इज चाइल्ड इज कॉन्स्टेंटली बीइंग मॉक्ड एट तो उसको अगर डराया जाता है कि if you come to the school again you will be harmed or you will be again your we will damage your property we will break this and that तो वो सब चीजें जो है वहां पे कवर हो जाएंगी इंटिमिडेशन के अंदर ऑल राइट सी इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट्स यहाँ तक तो पूछ सकते हो वरना आगे चलेंगे okay now coming particularly to a type of harassment which is sexual harassment which is gender based harassment so uske liye we have some very special distinct offenses like we have section 74 of BNS 75 76 79 and then there is an entire set of law which is POXO जो कि हम लोग काफी बार डिस्कस कर चुके हैं ऑलरेडी यूट्यूब पे वीडियोस अवेलेबल हैं अगर आपको थोड़ा सा भी डाउट है तो यू कैन गो एंड वॉच देम अगेन लेट्स look at these provisions specifically for which are I would say special provisions of protection for women or girls will fall here तो यहाँ पे एक सेक्शन है 74 जिसके अंदर assault or criminal use of force with respect to with intent to outrage the modesty of a woman ये बहुत important point है यहाँ पे with intent to outrage the modesty of woman so if a girl is being bullied or if there is any act or conduct of body shaming relating to a girl then it will be a special offense under section 74 of BNS and it can be said to be a crime against modesty of the woman Okay, so let's look at the definition again. Assault or force to any woman intending to outrage. Outrage refers to intending to violate, intending to infringe or affect, or knowing it to be likely that he will thereby outrage her modesty. Modesty is the autonomy, is the personal autonomy on the, you know, on the body and on the persona of that woman. तो यहाँ पर punishment होगा of either description of a term which shall not be less than 1 year. एक साल से minimum एक साल का punishment है, minimum 1 year punishment is there, or it can also be subjected to fine. Okay, so it's a very special provision, like I said. And if there is a case of bullying, body shaming against a woman, this will be a better section to, you know, invoke in that case. Okay, the next is section 75, again talks about harassment, and definition में clearly लिखा है man committing any of the following, इनमें से कुछ भी अगर होता है, like any kind of physical contact or advances involving unwelcome, explicit sexual overtures, any sexual act which is unacceptable, any inappropriate touching, any inappropriate gestures, advances, or maybe a demand for any kind of sexual favor, or showing pornography against the will of a woman, or making sexually colored remarks. ये सारी चीजें यहाँ पे they all or any of them, they all together jointly or any of them will separately also constitute the offense of sexual harassment. Okay, and indirectly yes is also making the person liable for bullying or body shaming. फिर ये कंटिन्यू हुआ, एनी मैन हु कमिट्स द ऑफेंस, तो इसमें पनिशमेंट क्या है, shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment, right, of a term which may extend to 3 years. Maximum punishment is 3 years. So it is a very special, distinct kind of offense, and I would say it is a little bit harsh offense because the punishment is harsh, and that's why this is really a distinct offense from other offenses जहाँ पे इतना ज़्यादा punishment available नहीं है. So maximum punishment is given as 3 years with fine, या फिर दोनों चीज impose हो सकती है. This is section 75 that we just talked about specially for women along with section 74. Okay. अच्छा, what is the difference between 74 and 75? तो 74 के अंदर there is either assault or use of criminal force. So you know some kind of apprehension या फिर threat यहाँ पर exist करेगा 74 के अंदर, लेकिन 75 के अंदर थ्रेट का होना जरूरी नहीं है, एप्रीहेंशन का होना जरूरी नहीं है, because 75 does not talk about assault or use of force. It just talks about anything which is inappropriately done or anything which is unwelcome or unacceptable by the woman. Now it may or may not be a fear or a threat or a damage or an injury, right? So even without a threat, it would be a case of sexual harassment. Particularly, we have another section, that is section 79, जहां पर बात हो रही है word, gesture or act which is intended to insult the modesty. यहाँ पे insult की बात हो रही है, तो ये भी थोड़ा सा distinct offense है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे insult की बात हो रही है, but there is no talk, there is no mention of threat as such, intimidation पे नहीं हो रहा है, insult हो रही है, वो भी इसके अंदर आ सकता है, intending to insult the modesty. So this is where, you know, the offense of bullying or body shaming would be would be broadly covered, even though not directly stated to be covered, but then by interpretation, by the liberal interpretation of the law, these offenses can definitely be covered. Uttering any word, कुछ भी बोलना, or making any sound or gesture or exhibition of any object in any form, intending that such word or sound shall be heard, or that such gesture or object shall be seen. तो यहाँ पर भी इसके लिए पनिशमेंट है विद सिंपल इम्प्रिजनमेंट फॉर अ टर्म विच में एक्सटेंड टू 3 years. अगेन इट्स अ गुड इनफ punishment, that is maximum punishment of 3 years is made available. ठीक है. So we can see that yes, although for body shaming and bullying, there are gender neutral offenses also that we saw a while ago, but then there is a little more protection available in case of women, for sure. Apart from that, we have a few gender neutral offenses. Again, like we have criminal defamation. So if there is, if there is any statement, gesture, or conduct about somebody's character which degrades it, or which destroys the character, or which lowers down the reputation of such person in the eyes of right thinking members of the society. तो किसी कोई spreading a rumor about somebody, or things like that, that normally happens in bullying, तो वो defamation के अंदर भी आ सकता है, provided that the facts which are stated are not really true. Okay, if the facts are exaggerated, if the facts are hypothetical, then it can also fall under section 356 of BNS, that is defamation. 302 BNS के अंदर भी चीजें फॉल कर सकती हैं, that talks about obscene acts and digital content. What is 302? I have the definition for all of you. We can have a look at this. So uttering words with deliberate intent to wound religious feelings. Now this is where I would say that religious bullying, if a person is bullied for or in connection with his religious rights or religious activities or religious practice or associations, तो वो भी specifically apart from the offenses that we just saw, उसके अलावा that will also fall under section 302, क्योंकि this particularly talks about religious affecting religious feelings. So yeah, religious bullying would be one such example. uh, of any person uttering any word, makes any sound in the hearing of that person, or makes any gesture in sight of that person, or places any object in the sight of that person, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 1 year. The maximum amount of punishment in this case is 1 year, along with, of course, fine, or both the punishments can be imposed together depending on the severity or gravity of the offense. So this is a very, very distinct kind of offense. Definitely a gender neutral offense. Uh, it's also religiously neutral offense because it applies to all religions. It, any person from any religion who is being bullied or mocked at or made fun of, or is harassed, insulted because of his association with that religion, तो वो इसके अंदर fall करेगा. Okay, so we see so many offenses are there, which are covering these two things under the BNS, or making them criminally liable, although nothing specific has been drafted so far. But then there are some CBSE anti-bullying guidelines, and those are mandatory for the schools. They have to follow these guidelines, and that's an obligation is also placed on the schools to maintain grievance redressal systems. That is, they have to address these things, these complaints in a timely manner. And if it is not addressed, then a complaint to CBSE can directly be made, and a further complaint to the relevant courts can be made, right? तो ऐसा नहीं है कि in case of body shaming or bullying, access to court is prohibited. It's not like that. Access to court is allowed, but depends on where it is committed. अगर वहां पे कोई रिड्रेसल फोरम है, तो पहले उसको सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा. आफ्टर दैट द कोर्ट कैन बी अप्रोच्ड. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे इंस्टीट्यूशनल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी क्रिएट करा हुआ है. उसके अलावा अगर जो ऑफेंडर है, अगर see, it is not necessary that the offender is always a juvenile or a child or a minor. Well, in schools, mostly, yes, the offenders are minors, but then offenders can really be anybody, any dull person, any person of sound mind, or of gender or caste or religion. Okay, it doesn't really matter. But in case there is a child offended, तो Juvenile Justice Act, which is in short called JJ Act, वो तो apply करेगा ही करेगा. और इसके बारे में भी हम लोग ऑलरेडी बात कर चुके हैं. Videos are available on the channel. Then this entire thing is linked to right to dignity under article 21. ठीक है, ये जो पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट है बॉडी शेमिंग का, बॉडी शेमिंग के अगेंस्ट लॉ या लीगल प्रोविजंस का या बुलिंग का, तो ये इसका सारा जो ओरिजिन है दैट इज आर्टिकल 21, जहां पर ये मेंशन्ड है दैट देयर इज अ राइट, everybody has a right to live, not just physically, not merely an animal existence, but right to live with proper human dignity, with proper respect, with proper bundle of rights. A lot of bundle of rights also are attached to article 21. तो राइट टू लाइफ एंड डिग्निटी के अंदर इंक्लूड्स राइट टू डिग्निटी है, मेंटल हेल्थ की यहाँ पर इंक्लूजन किया गया है, एंड रेपुटेशन का तो इंक्लूजन है ही. तो यही से डिराइव होते हैं ये जितने भी ऑफेंसेस हमने देखे हैं, क्राइम्स अगेंस्ट सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट या फिर दिस क्रिमिनल इंटिमिडेशन, असॉल्ट और यूज ऑफ फोर्स, हर्ट, वो सब यहीं से डिराइव होते हैं. सुप्रीम कोर्ट का प्रिंसिपल है कि बॉडी डिग्निटी इज पार्ट ऑफ पर्सनल लिबर्टी. Bodily dignity is part of personal liberty. So what you want to wear, how you look, it is your fundamental right. Okay, you may not be directed by somebody else to move in a certain direction or to have a certain kind of bodily appearance. Okay, so that autonomy, that independence is interpreted as a crucial part of article 21. ऑनलाइन एनोनिमिटी से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. अगर कोई एनोनिमस बुलिंग होता है, एनोनिमस साइबर बुलिंग होता है, ऑनलाइन या डिजिटली बुलिंग होता है, तो वो भी इन सब एक्ट्स के अंदर कवर होगा. आई थिंक दे वुड बी वन सेक्शन 66 या आईटी एक्ट के जो सेक्शंस हैं वो हमने छोड़ दिए थे. तो ये आईटी एक्ट के सेक्शंस हैं. ऑनलाइन बुलिंग अगर होती है 66E, 67, 67A जो है वो दैट इज ऑल कवर्ड फॉर ऑनलाइन हैरेसमेंट. सो यू सी, देयर इज अ वाइड application of laws, widely available laws are there. The thing is only to identify the right section and apply it on the facts. ठीक है, so that is it for now. Yes, that is it for now. If you have any questions or queries, please post on the chat, live chat. Otherwise, then I'll sign off now. So, got to learn a lot of things here. I want all of you to do a little more research about these sections to have a deeper understanding. So maybe you'll find a few illustrations to that that will really be helpful in your examination in CLAT preparation. And in my personal opinion, CLAT, these topics are important for CLAT because these are things that keep happening, or at least are very, very, commonly complained before the courts, even before the institutions. तो जो चीज का फ्रीक्वेंसी ज्यादा है या जो चीज प्रेवलेंट है, वहां से लीगल टॉपिक्स के आने की पॉसिबिलिटी बहुत ज्यादा हो जाती है. आई ऑलवेज से दैट. So keep it in mind. I hope you have taken down the notes. Okay, if you haven't, then watch it again and do take down some notes at least. All right. So I'll see you all again very, very soon after some time with another topic, with another addition to your preparation. Until then, all the very best. Thank you so much for listening to me patiently. Bye bye. Take care.